Hi. I know you all weren't expecting a second video in just one day. It's the 5th of April and today I read some pretty disturbing news. I often think that parties arrive in politics with admirable aims and are corrupted by their membership and their backers. Though the big parties are not immune to this, this is particularly true of smaller single-issue parties. It would be fair to say that the Conservatives are no longer conservative and have been corrupted by a libertarian influence, as I detailed last week. I can't really comment on Labour as they appear rudderless at the moment, but it does appear that Liberal Democrats are neither of those two words with their ongoing policy of denying Scottish democracy. And let's not make this all about the other parties. Yes, it can be argued, though I don't agree, that my party, the SNP, has been taken over by various non-independence related agendas. People focused on a single issue are often very passionate about it, and that passion often clouds their judgment. The ALBA Party, so far, a single issue party, with an admirable aim, and though I won't be voting for them, they have a right to take part in the elections and a right to have their say. But they are at big risk of being corrupted by their membership and their supporters. In order to understand the danger, you have to look at the example of UKIP. The party was initially the Anti-Federalist League, a Eurosceptic political party established in 1991 by the historian Alan Sked. Opposed to the Maastricht Treaty, they sought to sway the governing UK Conservative Party towards removing the country from the European Union. Now, we may not support that aim, but it is not unreasonable, and it could even be considered admirable in certain circles. It took them a while to get going, but eventually a change of identity, and then they became a political force under Nigel Farage's leadership. Love him or loathe him, Farage was a successful leader and brought UKIP further than they ever deserved to go. But towards the end of his leadership, things were starting to go wrong. Increasing numbers of former EDL and BNP members were joining UKIP. As the party started to decline, they sought closer relations with Tommy Robinson and his followers, eventually allowing him to join and influence policy. By 2019, it was all but over, as Nigel Farage swept up the most reasonable former UKIP members to join the Brexit Party, and UKIP are now a racist irrelevance. It's fair to say that it's been a whirlwind week for the ALBA Party. They've been founded with an admirable aim. They've had some high-profile recruits join up. They've overtaken the Scottish Liberal Democrats in membership numbers. Even the Proclaimers are on board. And depending which polls you look at, they could be looking at a wee bit of electoral success. But they risk undoing all of that if they can't rein in the behaviour of some of their supporters. Now, there are a few of us indie bloggers, and we do read each other's work. IndyCar Gordon Ross corrected me just this morning because I got the date wrong in a video. Cheers, pal. Everyone in the indie community knows of Paul Kavanagh, the author of the Wee Ginger Dog Independence blog. Paul has been at the forefront of indie blogging, not only in Scotland but also in Catalonia when she rescued the Wee Ginger Dog. I always read Paul's blog. He's been doing it a lot longer than me and he writes so well. I don't always agree with what he writes, but I don't question his commitment to an independent Scotland either. And his thought-provoking writings have definitely contributed to the discussion and the indie cause. Paul said a few setbacks of late: a stroke, the death of his treasured Wee Ginger Dog whilst in hospital recovering, and then having to move house due to ongoing health issues from the stroke. And despite all of that, Paul kept on blogging, despite not being fully recovered, despite struggling to even type some days. After the ALBA launch, Paul blogged. And he didn't say anything I didn't say in my blog. He was definitely more dismissive of the ALBA Party and said, as I had, that he wouldn't be voting for them. Fast forward 1 week, and the man who had the strength to keep his blog on independence going from a hospital bed in a stroke unit whilst grieving has been bullied off the internet by people claiming to be ALBA supporters and has shelved his blog until the election is over. I hope the individuals behind this have a wee moment of clarity to actually see what they've done. They've taken an experienced and reasoned voice who was blogging on independence for years, off the Indy airwaves in just 1 week. Now, to be clear, I don't blame the ALBA Party for this, but they are probably the only ones who can do anything about it. Just like with the Rangers fans who broke the COVID rules a few weeks ago, I don't hold the club responsible, but they were the only ones the fans would have listened to. To those who have bullied Paul off the internet, I hope you all feel like big strong men. Bullying a man off the internet when he is simultaneously recovering from a stroke and recovering from grief. I hope you're proud of having taken your new party from a hopeful and aspirational launch on a journey towards being a blue UKIP in just over a week. Now, I have followed and revered Alex Salmond for years. I've been lucky enough to meet him on a few occasions and always enjoyed the experience. I haven't judged him on his alleged behaviour and accept that he was found not to have acted in a criminal manner. My opinion of Alex as a person hasn't changed. But I am calling on Alex and the ALBA leadership to state categorically right now that this type of behaviour is unacceptable, and that the ALBA Party will take swift and decisive action against members engaging in it. I know there are nutters on the fringes of every movement, but I fear we are witnessing the toxic nationalism promoted by the likes of the EDL and BNP starting to creep into the Scottish independence debate, and that worries me. Because I always thought we were better than that. I always thought that toxic nationalism was one of the main reasons Scotland wanted to leave the United Kingdom. I still believe that the ALBA Party are a proper, serious political party with admirable aims. Again, I reiterate, this isn't the fault of Alex Salmond or ALBA. But if they don't move very, very swiftly to condemn this behaviour, then they risk allowing the likes of Sean Clarkin to bring his kind of toxicity into the mainstream of the independence movement, and their silence will lend it legitimacy. They risk the very crap that unionists say about independence being toxic and divisive actually becoming true. I have given the ALBA Party advance warning an opportunity to comment before publishing this film. DaviePHD.